Hi everyone, today we're here in Alcala and I'm here with Kim de Costa, my longtime friend, and she is the founder of Slow & Co and the creator of the new Canarias Eco Marketplace.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for making time, Kim.
Well, thank you for having me. I love the idea.
Yeah, I did too. Huh? I mean, you've been already before on one of the interviews, so I'm really excited that you're going to be talking about Canarias Eco, which is, can you explain a little bit? I think you can explain the best.
So Canarias Eco is the first online sustainable marketplace from and for the Canary Islands.
Mm-hmm.
That actually means that it's a way for sustainable brands from the islands to connect with consumers that have an interest in leading a sustainable lifestyle.
So tell us a little bit about your philosophy and the values behind this project, and maybe, I mean, it's Slow & Co is the umbrella sort of, and Canarias Eco is one marketplace but has its own philosophy and its own values, right?
Exactly. Maybe I should start with Slow & Co just shortly to kind of give a setting in where Canarias Eco fits into that project. So Slow & Co is a sustainable connector. So what we basically do is we connect sustainable brands with other sustainable brands, professionals, consumers. We mainly want to help different companies and professionals to become more sustainable.
Okay.
And Canarias Eco for us has been one way of doing that. So what we really try to do is make sure to keep into account, I mean, you've known that for ages we've been speaking about that a lot of times. For me, sustainability is not just about the environmental impact or pillar. Sustainability very much has three pillars. I keep referring to the economical one, social one, environmental one. And then you once told me, like, yeah, it's people, profit, planet. And I was kind of like, yeah, perfect, that's it, the three Ps. And there are some other Ps, but those are the three main factors. So when talking about sustainability, we always try to keep into account those three pillars and not just one, which is a very, very important thing to do. And that's why I wanted to be a sustainable connector on a local level to really support the local economy.
The local economy, right, exactly. But it's still available for the whole wild world, right?
It is. Strangely enough, it's always this matter of what do we do? Like, for instance, with the marketplace, it's up to the brand itself if they want to send to mainland Spain or anywhere else in the world. Obviously, if you ask my personal opinion as the person behind this project, I'd say, well, maybe you shouldn't send outside of Europe because of the carbon footprint and so on. And our first strategy is really to promote it on a local level,
that the Canary Islands.
Exactly.
So that is not just Tenerife where we are located; it's all of the Canary Islands.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think you have quite some services and products already from other islands as well.
Yes. For now, I think the only islands that aren't or don't have any, like, I don't have brands from El Hierro. And I think I don't have anyone so far from La Gomera.
Not yet.
Not yet. So far.
We can
We're getting there. We're doing
course.
this.
We can start a whistling course.
Exactly. So, not yet. But various Lanzarote brands, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, so all the islands are actually represented except for those two for now.
Yeah, and it's growing.
It definitely is.
It
definitely is. That's one of the reasons. I think we first started out with more of a generic platform. I keep calling it generic because we used a pre-made software which is called Share Tribe, and now we moved on to which is our new version, our new platform.
And we will definitely link it so you can check it out and see what Kim is offering on Canarias Eco. It's really quite impressive, and I believe it's an opportunity for many brands to become more sustainable and aware in the first place. It's not just being sustainable right away, but also to maybe attract this kind of way of living, because it's oftentimes, maybe even now more so, perceived as a trend, and it's actually a commitment, and it's actually a way of living. If you go in this direction, then it's like a child growing. It's something you adapt more and more into, and you start maybe making small changes, and then you kind of like it, and you kind of become more aware of new ways and better ways how to be more sustainable, maybe even in broader areas in your own life.
Sure.
And in your business. It's not in your own life only. You started very much in your own life, didn't you?
The projects came about because I started in my very own personal life, just on a personal level, because I was still working in a company, to implement certain steps in my personal life. And I remember, this was like more than 4 years ago, finding it very hard to find some stuff on the Canary Islands.
Yes.
Like, okay, I want to make this step. And what I always recommend is, because if not, it can get very overwhelming.
It is.
So, like, small baby steps, one thing at a time. Also, sometimes I say, like, well, it's not really sustainable if you would change everything, because that would mean, for instance, let's say personal care products. If you all of a sudden say, I'm going to be more sustainable, and you throw away actually everything you have to then buy the sustainable version, that doesn't add up. No, you use it until, like a shampoo, you use it, you finish it, and then that's one sustainable alternative you buy. And then it's like that, step by step, on a personal level as well. Like I said, for me, it's not just about the products I use, it's also who's made them, where are they from, are they indeed from a local brand, and then there's the personal aspect, because I started meditating, so it's this 360 thing for me.
But it's also this way, and that's why I very, very much like the name Slow & Co. I can identify personally very much with that name. Real change, I believe, comes slowly and step by step, and it's implementing. And if you want to make real change, it takes courage to do that, because it's long term. It's not just something trendy, and the next season it's out of trend and you just kick it away. No, it's something that takes courage, and it's encouraging yourself, and in the first place, and then encouraging others to make those changes, I believe. And I think you're doing an excellent work with all of your projects you're doing.
For me, it's like you say, it's kind of, I always felt this name, like Slow & Co. was exactly what the brand and actually my person stands for. So I'm like the slow, as in I'm doing this slowly, and obviously it comes from slow life, slow food. We all know those movements that are like, let's become a more sustainable, a bit more minimalist. Let's consider so many other things instead of just consumerism in every possible way. And then Co, for me, was I've always loved collaborating and helping other brands and even other people. So it was an automatic thing, like, okay, the Co is like my connections, my collaborations, my co-creations, whatever it is. But and I still feel that is a really good representation of what the brand and I myself stand for.
Yeah, I think so too. And you're an excellent networker as well. So this Co is definitely in the right place for you.
Yes, yes. Like I say, it's a sustainable connector, and it just felt right. It was kind of like, this is what I do. I connect all day long, all the time.
That's very. I even call her the network queen.
I remember.
Yes, because you've got that open coffee networking.
Yeah, by now I stopped because it started out in, I think it was more than 2 years ago.
Yes.
In collaboration with Canary Green, we started like the open coffee because I wanted those networking events to be informal and just casual, but with a focus on sustainability. And obviously the pandemic hit, so it was kind of, okay, I need to refocus this project. So I took them online, and now they're called Sustainable Networking Online, and we're focusing on one topic each month. And one I do in Spanish and one I do in English, because for me that's one of the things I feel important as well. Like, okay, we are in the Canary Islands and we do lots of, obviously all of my projects are done in Spanish, but there's such a huge, and not just the tourists that visit us or the travelers, there's a huge foreign community here, and I felt like I need to bridge that gap.
Yes.
Because I think there's lots of them as well that are looking for more sustainable options, and they might even find it harder to find those options and people and professionals. So that's why I organize the events in both languages as well.
Yes, and it has attracted over time a big followership actually internationally as well.
When I took it online, it was even surprising to me. It was kind of like, oh yay, maybe I might get some people in from other islands. And that other islands became Dubai, the States, UK, mainland Spain, South America. So sometimes I myself find it very surprising that you're kind of like, oh. But for me that means that there is actually a need there.
Yeah.
Because if people worldwide connect to this like small sustainable networking event run from the Canary Islands, then I'm kind of like, okay, this needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's excellent bridging a gap. I mean, the Canary Islands is such an amazing location, and throughout history has always been. So people need to know about this marvelous place.
Yes.
And,
come over
or join online, whatever.
As well.
But I think it's excellent. So Kim, what I would like to ask you, for somebody who is totally new to sustainability or healthier life or maybe a more conscious way of living, how would you recommend to start? What would be the first step?
Well, it's a bit like I said before, don't start with everything at once. And there's always one quote I keep on using, even though it comes from the zero waste world, and even it's by R.A.W.S. She's the zero waste chef, she's called. And so she cooks zero waste. She has a zero waste kitchen. And she once said, we don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly.
Yeah.
And that to me is something you can actually translate perfectly to any subject that has to do with sustainability.
Yeah.
Whether it's I myself am vegan, for instance, but still it's kind of like cut a bit. Do just a bit. It doesn't. I sometimes say maybe I'm a bit fanatic, like my clothing, my food, everything, but it doesn't have to be that way. If we all do a little bit, that would make a huge difference.
It would, and definitely it's something that encourages, because it can be some kind of shocking and, like you said, overwhelming, and it can even scare people off. If you want to try to do everything in a perfect way, because that's something utopic. Who starts out doing something? Anybody who has been greatly and highly successful in anything they were doing, they started at some point doing something in a very good way, repetitively.
No.
So just starting with some little change in the right direction can make a huge difference.
Very much true. I notice that a lot. People sometimes ask, like, so where did you start first, or what is it that you do? And I imagine, I mean, you get the usual, how do you say that? The usual objections, as in, it's too expensive, it's too much. Well, it's actually not, but it's the way you go about. So if you just take baby steps and find your guidance, I mean, there's lots of very encouraging people here, and not just me with my projects, I mean to say, like, in general, I've seen so many brands and so many awesome people that work towards sustainability that I'm kind of like, read, follow them and take a bit of inspiration from them. And if you feel like today changing one thing, then that's awesome, and I'll be there to applaud you every step of the way. Because to me, that's a thing that when I was with Canary Green, I always liked that, like the positive reinforcement. As in, if somebody's doing something already in the direction of, then I will applaud that. Sustainably perfect, I think that's non-existent. Whatever you do has an impact. So, and people have to start somewhere.
And encouraging and applauding, as you said, I think it hits the people pillar of sustainability. Because it's very important to harness that as well, and to make maybe own changes in your own little beliefs that are maybe putting you down in your way of living. But there are always better ways and better solutions to something, and ultimately the people are the ones who have to make profit and planet workable and a better place, and find better solutions for making profit, or find better ways to live on this planet more sustainably, or else those people won't exist too long.
It's like, we've spoken about this before. Sustainability, for me, always starts with oneself. And I always say to whomever wants to listen, if you don't feel okay about yourself and who it is you are, then you can care less about the planet. So that's why for me, like, for instance, on Canarias Eco, you know, there's a category called personal development, and I want things on there.
Well, I have my service.
No, but that's the thing. I think that's really important in this journey, because people can find it overwhelming. They don't really see it. Maybe they get. I mean, there's even the other day I spoke about it. There's a word called eco-anxiety. That's not the idea either.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a word, eco-anxiety. I read it first 2 years ago, or more years ago, when I first started out in this journey. You can feel overwhelmed, as in, oh my God, we need to change and do this now, and how can I help? And this is not going to have enough impact.
True.
And you get some sort of anxiety. So that for me is a huge one. The people pillar is so important within sustainability.
And the anxiety, what you're describing right now, it's overall, it's confusion. But once it's sort of clear in which direction you want to go to, you can build an image from that, and from that image you operate, and from that image you sort of guide all the areas of your life.
Exactly. I think even in the brands world, you have brands that start with the economic pillar or the social one, as in, I'm first going to take care of the people I hire as employees, or I am going to make sure that they are local people being hired of my very own town. And they're not keeping into account yet that environmental pillar, but that does not mean they're not sustainable. They're on the right path. Then there's people that start out like, I'm so hyper focused on that environmental pillar, but then they'll get there. It's a process. So it's kind of choose what you feel for you fits best.
Yeah.
And then start there, and slowly but surely you'll grow into
And
it.
everybody who decides to go in this direction of being more sustainable plays an important role, no matter in which category or pillar you are falling. Make your impact and your ripple in whichever one you are more suitable in, and then you will see that it will change things. You are starting to attract people you are getting more contact with. They are also automatically more sustainable, and it makes a huge difference. Those kind of alliances, they will be tied together, no matter if they come from the profit pillar or the planet pillar. Ultimately, it's also the people who have to make it all happen and workable.
It's funny you should say that, alliances, because I was just thinking when I heard you speak, as in if there's one sustainable development goal my brand and person works towards, it's the 17, which is alliances, which is like you need to work together. And within the United Nations, they say that's the one that is needed to kind of make sure all the others happen.
Yeah.
And that somehow I feel is my role in this, as in maybe I might not be your direct supplier or whatever, but I will connect you to that person.
Yes.
So whether it's somebody from that people pillar or the planet pillar or whichever pillar, but I'm there. If it's
well, we will definitely hear more from you, and go check out Canarias Eco and give it a go, and this video a like. Thank you so much, Kim, for making time. Is there any thing you would like to say to the audience?
The same she said.
Wow!
Go check it out.
Go check it out.
Go check it out. Like the video, and feel free to share, because I think that's an important one.
Yes, because sharing is caring.
Exactly, sharing is caring, and it's really true for both of our projects.
It's true. It's true. Thank you so much, and it hasn't been the last one.
No, I'll be back.
I said that the last time as well.
True. And look at us now.
Here we are in sunny Tenerife, and the sun came out shining. Woohoo! It's a wrap.